Hey ASL fans, it's me, Suzie, back for the power ranking.
We're here for our Week 7 mid-season power rankings. It's going to be a special edition, and we'll go over what makes it so special after we get through the initial power rankings this video. So like always, these are our opinions, so you can respect them if you want. If you don't respect us, then all right. But we hope we entertain you and are somewhat informative.
Yeah, no one respects you, first off, and second off, you're the person making power ranking special.
Okay, before we say anything controversial, start the video.
Okay, moving on. Suzie.
Like always, my picks are on the left and Jake's picks are on the right. So starting it off, we have a pretty identical page, I bet you guys can all see. And we're going to hop right into our first slot, which is number 14, the bottom of the cellar. And that is none other than Mr. Malone.
So you come up with a new way each to say Malone is the one.
I'm my best.
Yeah, we'll talk about Mr. Malone here.
This season, on paper, he has a good team, and he's had success in the past. But this season, has had lackluster prep, and nothing has really gone his way, I guess. Malone still has a chance to make the playoffs, I believe, if he wins out. So everyone's rooting for that. But it's going to be very, very difficult for Malone. So at this point, find a way to salvage your season, maybe pick up 3 or 4 wins, Malone, and that'd be pretty cool. So learn from your mistakes, Malone, and I think you can find a way to somehow salvage this dreadful season.
Malone does have a very winnable style, though. So we'll see how he does there. And honestly, Malone has lost his confidence. That's one of the doing really poor with an 0-7 record and just getting trashed on by everyone. Now let's move on to both of our 13 slots.
Gustavo, you don't know what's going to come from each week. He either plays comes out of nowhere and just beats someone like TG. This week, though, was probably, easily was the worst week of the season for him. Maybe the worst game he's played all year, as Damaster kind of laid it on him pretty thick.
Yeah, I saw Ladia sweep against his. I set it up originally. Honestly, he should have definitely brought Hayes on Lodic, and that would have never happened.
Exactly.
So that's why he's down here at 13 with 2 wins and 5 losses. He's been playing okay some games because he did beat the number 1 battler, but other games he's just playing terrible. So it happens. Now let's move on to number 12. Suzie?
12, we have Inaria, and Inaria's had a roller coaster season. This week was not a great week for Inaria. It was a 4-0 loss. And against Ghost. And I think that Inaria just didn't really have, I guess, great prep this week. Maybe it was just a bad matchup. I didn't look too far into it, going to be honest. But Inaria's had some really good matches this season. And any week, he can beat anyone in this league. So he definitely could have a pretty good season still and turn this season around, as he's 2-5.
Yeah, Inaria's not doing too bad so far, especially with sets, but a 2-5 record and not tough of a schedule. It's hard to put Inaria any higher than 12. Moving on to 11, we got your boy Ghost.
Boy, Ghost has been, again, a roller coaster. This week, I believe he brought similar prep to the week prior. It ended up paying off. He got a nice win, and at this point now, Ghost is 2-5, I believe, and having some good wins. He beat Inaria, then he also was able to beat Brad earlier. So he's still in the race.
I heard that voice crack.
He's still in the race, and if he just keeps his head up and just gets some quality wins to end the season, he can make a push if he wins out, I believe.
That is very true. I also think that Ghost's team is pretty bad. I mean, Mega Blastoise, he talks about every week hating, and he's kind of given up on the season. So I don't think him trying at this point would really be worth it, because he would pretty much have to win all but one of his to make the playoffs. And he has a decent hard schedule left, not too tough, but definitely hard. So I don't see it happening, but there's a chance because Ghost is a great battler, but he's just not performed the way I wanted him to perform so far. So we have him down here at 11. Now let's move on to our next page of rankings of people. Number 10.
Yeah. So we have Rocker Boy Gaming. I don't want to dig into his YouTube channel like we always do. I'm just going to go over Rocker. He's having a really nice season.
Rocker Boy Gaming.
Having a great season, and he's definitely getting better and better each week.
Yeah, same spot as last week, though.
Race, and he could, if he is able to win out, he will make it guaranteed. I believe that'll be around 9 wins. I think he can afford to lose 1 or 2 games, still make it. The only problem for Rocker is he has a very difficult schedule. He has to still play, I believe, Keister and Ian, I believe, is what he told me. If I'm wrong, thanks a lot, Rocker. He has to play me, he has to play Damaster, and I believe he has to play Static. So
no, I already beat him.
All right, not you, my bad. Hutch, sorry. Hutch, not you. So he's a pretty hard schedule left. Rocker's playing well, and even if he doesn't make the playoffs, learned a lot, and I really think he's going to be a really good sleeper candidate for the playoffs next season.
Yeah, maybe. If Rocker tries really hard, which I've seen his prep for next week, is pretty solid, so I think he's going to have a good game against Ghost next week. Also, I've been impressed. I think his record's only 4, which isn't really impressive, but honestly, people coming into the season probably only thought he would win games, 1 game max, because last year winning 0 games when he was coaching. But so far he's played pretty solid, and I think he can still contend for that last playoff spot if it comes down to that.
If not this season. Yeah. Next spot, we have Static and the Intermelodic, and Static is having a disappointing season by a great season last year. He's still in this playoff hunt. He's sitting at a 3-4 record right now with a -4 differential. He's going to have some nice wins to end the season, but it's definitely feasible that he's able to make the playoffs. And with him being as good of a battler as he is, no one will be surprised if he does make the playoffs.
Honestly, he automatically me because I can't stop Zygarde, but yeah, Static, bad season so far. I expect him to be better. He hasn't even had that tough of a schedule, and his wins aren't super impressive. So there is that. Now you want to talk about yourself that you have on 8 and our first disagreement.
And I had a very nice win this week over Hutch, but if Hutch was able to land one of his moves, you guys can see in the battle, it may have affected the outcome of the match differently. So I don't know how much it would have changed, but it could have affected the game to make it a loss in my. But I think it was a solid win, and I'm now sitting at 4-3, a winning record. But I have myself below Damaster because his differential is 4 better than mine, and if I'm gonna make the playoffs, I'm going to have to either win, I think, 5 of my next 6 with 9 wins to be very safe. 7, yeah. I'm going to have a very, very, very good differential. So I see the Master higher than me because his team is sitting in a better spot right now.
I saw Suzie play that last game pretty solid, so I put Suzie above me. I mean, our common opponents so far have been Hutch, Ian, and Gustavo so far, I think. And we both beat Gustavo. I beat Ian. He lost 5-0 to Ian. I lost to Hutch, and he won against Hutch. So far, looking at that, we're very interchangeable. I guess his point of putting me higher on the power rankings because my differential makes sense. But that was just because I got that sweep last week. Otherwise, I was only one ahead of him. And also, we're gonna play next week to dispute who is the higher ranking here. So it's gonna be a very interesting matchup, and we look to be rivals.
Yep.
It's gonna be a hype game.
It's going to be pretty hype, guys.
Really hype.
So let's go to our next page.
Next page, yeah. 6.
Here. He dropped, I believe, one spot because of his loss.
To you.
Yes. I think Hutch needs to address his rocks weakness. He had Fortress, and I thought it was a must-bring on his part because I have Skarmory, and Skarmory always brings Hazard stack. And I think if he would have brought Fortress, it would have been a much closer game, and I was actually very scared for that. I had, I think, 3 months with Hidden Power Fire or something insane like that. So I think Hutch, battling-wise, he's battled amazing. I think a lot of us don't like his team build-up with the huge rocks weakness, and he's still having a phenomenal season at 4-3 with a very good differential. And if he keeps playing like he is, it's going to be really tough for a lot of us that are behind him right now in the playoff hunt to overtake him for that last spot. And Hutch needs to keep doing what he's doing, and he's doing a great job so far.
Yeah, Hutch right now, I think he has 1 differential higher than me, and he got the win over. So it's going to be hard for me to keep up with him because if we tie, he gets the tiebreaker. But Hutch at 6 is very solid. I think he's honestly had a pretty tough schedule so far, and he's the only one to the state to beat Keister, which is pretty good. And yeah, but he's been another one of those roller coaster players, playing really good one week, not so great the next. And that's why he's not up there at top 3. Otherwise, he probably would if he had more. So moving on to number 5, Suzie.
Number 5, we have the Arcane Arcanizers and Ian. Ian is coming off a disappointing loss to Brad, which surprised a lot of us. Not because of Brad being a bad battler, which he is actually insane, anyone who knows, but because of, I guess, the team makeup. Ian's team is broken, and then Brad's team is, like we always say, a fun team.
Shit.
Brad brought some fun sets. He played very well, and he outplayed Ian, who also played a pretty good game. It was a phenomenal commish bowl, and you guys will see that in the weekly recap once that goes up.
Yeah, shout out to Hutch. Subscribe to Hutch 0302.
They both played really well, but we had to drop Ian because he did lose.
Yeah, Brad had a great game. Ian, honestly, he would probably say he didn't play that great. But if you look at the matchup play on paper, Brad kind of threatens Ian a lot. So I don't think the matchup was as lopsided as you might. But Brad definitely put in the more work prep and battled better in the game came around.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Number 4, we have the contract killers and the coach, Brad.
Yeah, we kind of just talked about him, but whatever.
Just going over him really fast again. Having a great season. Nobody even doubted him this season.
Little
with his team.
He's a little disappointed so far, I feel like, but was huge for him.
A lot of momentum to really go into this second half of the season. And right now, it's difficult for his team each week to win, as he has had a bad loss to Ghost. But with his team, he's going to get really bad matchups some weeks. So it's really fun to watch what kind of prep he brings each week and how he utilizes lower tier mons, as you'll see in the Commish Bowl.
Yeah, honestly, with Brad's team, beat anyone or lose to anyone. So it's very interesting to watch his prep and what he brings week in, week out. And yeah, he's one of the most entertaining battlers in the league right now.
Definitely.
So moving on to number 3, we got the new
pretty long time who is not 4-3. And this is Laurie. Laurie is having a great season. Interesting thing about her team is she has sand, and I don't think she's brought it very many times. She hasn't had to bring it. And the sand alone just adds another wrinkle in the prep, which can be very difficult to prep for. So her team is very good, and she's had some Mons have some really nice seasons so far, and some of them might win some awards.
Yeah, we are going to get into awards later in the power ranking because we're power ranking Mons, what I mean. Yeah, so
yeah.
Laurie, I've been super impressed with the whole season. The one thing that hasn't been super good on her part is bringing some very predictable sets and bringing similar month week in and week out. That's going to be my one pick. Other than that, she has played very well. Moving on to the top 2, we got another secondary. You want to talk about your number 2 pick?
Is Keister, and Keister is having a great season, and only one loss so far to his name. He had a very good win this week, beating Static 3-0. And right now, Keister has a pretty good differential. And again, 6 wins, 1 loss. He's in a very good position right now. And if he can just keep up his pace, he's going to make the playoffs this season, which he was unable to do last year.
Yeah, already 6-1. He only needs to get 2 more wins probably to make the playoffs. So he's sitting in a really good spot. And he's already played some players. His 1 loss to Hutch had. So, but he's pressing me. So that's why I put TG at number 2 for a few reasons. 1, just to change up the rankings a bit. And 2, because they're both playing really good. Keister beat me 1-0, which was pretty solid. Beat Static 3-0. Everyone he's played but Hutch. Hutch is a really good battler, so there's that. And TG's 1 loss came to Gustavo, who is bottom of our ranking. Even though there's some hacks, Keister's been impressing me more this season, so that's why I put TG at 2.
I have TG at 1, and the reason for that is when you really start to pick his brain about the decisions he makes, it's just absolutely crazy. He thinks ahead. He thinks about the consequences of every play, and his prep is just amazing. Like he knows what he needs to bring every week for what mon, and everything he brings just works. I don't think he brings many sets that just always finds a way to make whatever he brings work. And he's a plus 22 differential right now, and that is absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
8 more than Keister's, and Keister's having a phenomenal year, so that's why I put TG over him.
Yeah, well, I would agree that TG is a better battler, but honestly, Keister's prep is up there with TG's, especially since he uses Vish as his prepping partner, which is really good because Vish is the Season 2 champion of the ASL. So there's that. And yeah, I just like Keister so far. He's on a roll. His 1 loss was pretty bad, but made very good decisions so far this season. And considering last season he didn't do too great, I think he missed the playoffs. Yeah. And we're going to move on to power rankings of our Mons. You want to talk about the MVP frontrunners, Suzie? Sue?
I will. I'm the coach of this Mon, and when I drafted this Mon, I told myself this is going to be the head of my franchise, and it's going to be a cornerstone that I can build my team around. And Diancie has not disappointed. Right now, it's 13 and let me check, 13 and 3, I believe, 13 and 3, and when you run the calcs, it's insane. Every Mon takes at least like 40% from one of its moves. You can't switch into this thing. It's played great, and I've found a way to use it pretty well, I believe, so far. I've used it really well to late game cleanup, and I've really liked how it's been versatile. And I just hope Diancie can keep playing its heart out for these last 6 weeks.
Yeah. So your Mon is the MVP frontrunner over there. Mine is 1 kill behind Mega Sharpedo. And so far, I've been prepping for Mega Diancie, and it's crazy to prep for. The thing about our matchup here is that both Mega Diancie and Mega Sharpedo OHKO each other, so it's interesting if they come in against each other. But
Exactly.
we're going to be battling it off to who can take over the number 1 spot in the front runners. But so far, Mega Sharpedo has been the staple of my team. Most of the games I've won, it's been there to clean up for me. It's been really solid so far, so I like it.
On 3 spot, we have a Mon from Keister's team. It's Weavile, and Weavile's been really good this season. He's brought some interesting sets, like such as Scarf Weavile at time to time, and that worked very, very well. Keister has used Weavile very well, and threat to every team, and it's very hard to prep for. I can tell you that from firsthand experience.
Yeah, in my
it's 11 and 2
loss,
currently.
1-0 loss. It got 2 kills against me and finished off the game for the win, which was good for him. And now let's move on to the 7th Mon frontrunner of the midseason. So at first we got Volcarona, who has came to 2 games, I believe, and is yet to die. And how many kills
3 games.
again?
3 games, 5 kills, 0 deaths for
5 kills,
TG.
0 deaths. TG has he said he loved this Mon in the draft and he really wants to use it. He's only brought it to 2, but when he brings it, he makes the most of it, which is pretty good.
Used it so far, and it adds another Mon to prep for because he's used it so well, and he's brought it so sparely that you never know when he's going to bring it.
Yeah, that's true. Now, moving on to number 2, it's Hutch's Vaporeon. I mean, it does not have a good differential, but it is in Hutch's team. Stays together. It's like the glue in Hutch's team, passing wishes everywhere and just being an overall tank.
I mean, I'll argue. I think it has a really good differential. It's 5 and 2 after 3 games.
5 and 2. Yeah, I mean that. Well, I was talking about so far its differential, amazing compared to them. But yeah, it still has a solid differential for a defensive Mon.
Using it really well, and it's really hard to play, and he's really been able to wish pass to a lot of his Mons. And yeah,
you say and a lot.
And I keep saying and a lot. Yeah.
And let's move on to number. And so Tangrowth destroyed me. It got 4 kills and 0 deaths with my game. Well, I think it got 3 kills and just walled my entire team. Another one of T Mons he brings sparingly, but that is doing freaking amazing. And
he loves using it, and kind of sets he brings with it, and the ideas that go into his prep each week when he brings it.
What? Where did you go? You turned off.
Here.
Hear you when you. We lost to Suzie. But okay, he is back. Suzie is not dead.
How much of that did you get?
Continue talking about Tangrowth? I don't think they could hear any of that.
I really liked the sets he's brought each week and just the ideas with each set he's brought. And it's really hard to beat, especially when he brings sets that are as fat as they've been, like the one he brought against you.
Yeah, it just completely, when Nito queen down, it was just game over because I had no good ways of killing his assault vest Tangrowth. Now moving on to defensive Mon front running. And at number 1, we have Tapu Fini. Would you like to talk about Ian's Tapu Fini?
Tapu Fini had a lot of hype going in to a lot of drafts and leagues at the beginning of Gen 7. A lot of Tapus kind of died off a bit with their hype, such as Coco. But Ian drafted this monster. And pairing this with another defensive Mon candidate has just been amazing. Beating through both of these is incredibly hard, and they have insane synergy with each other. I really like how he's used it this season. And team.
Yeah. At number 2 for defensive Mons, we got Suiku, who I believe is 8-5, something like that. What is its differential again?
Suiku's 8-5, I believe, yeah.
What?
I believe.
Yeah, 8-5. It has a lot of depth. But the thing is, Lara's been bringing it every week. It's just been in from beginning of the game till near the end. It's been taking hits, resting up, rest talking. 8 kills for defensive Mon is also solid, and it's taken some of the most hits in the league probably at this point.
Definitely.
Suzie, you want to talk about number 3, the Mega Scizor?
Number 3, we have the other part of Ian's difficult to beat through defensive core, and this is his Scizor. Scizor, as everyone in the league has played him so far, I believe, have noticed. And he used it very well.
Did he? Oh, yeah, he did. Never mind. Sharpedo killed it.
Yes, Sharpedo's killed a lot of good Mons this season. But he's used it really well.
Tapu Fini also. Suzie, come back. We lost Suzie again. Suzie's dead. Well,
I'm still here.
I'll just talk about Megan since Suzie is
I'm
dead.
still here.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
So he used it really well. He's been able to get a lot of momentum out of U-turning with it. And yeah, Ian's done a great job with it. And I'm going to end on that note. Great job using it so well, Ian.
And that ends off our video. Watching. It's time on Powering. Bye.